Welcome back to Revenue Margin, brought to you by Rob Malenik. Today, I want to talk a little bit about why growing companies run out of cash before showing profit. One of the biggest misconceptions in business is believing profit equals cash. I've seen companies grow rapidly, showing profits on their income statement, and still end up in serious financial trouble because they ran out of cash. Growing actually consumes cash. And think about what happens during the rapid expansion. Receivables increase, inventory grows, payroll expands, equipment purchases rise, and operating complexity increases. Meanwhile, customers often don't pay faster, they pay slower than expenses are incurred. And so construction and manufacturing companies experience this consistently moving forward. And then a lot of construction companies, when we talk about this, really get confused because they're like, hey, I should be making all this money. And when we sit back and explain to them that, yes, you are making money, you are. But you got to really think about your growth and your expansion and how you're going to be able to expand to meet that demand from a growth perspective. And if you don't have enough cash, you could run into an issue. So you can have a strong backlog, you can have healthy margins, you can increasing revenue, and you're still facing liquidity pressure every month. And your financial statements on your P&L might show a profit, but maybe not the profit you expect from a cash flow perspective. And so that's one of the things is that understanding working capital is critical, especially if you're thinking about acquiring companies. The income statement can tell you whether you're profitable. The cash flow statement tells you whether you can survive. And many entrepreneurs focus entirely on revenue growth while ignoring, cash conversion cycles, AR aging, inventory turns, debt structure, and timing of vendor payments. It's fascinating to me that they can be an expert sometimes in delivering the product itself, an expert in construction or manufacturing, but not understand the fundamentals of their business. Another major issue is overconfidence during growth. Companies assume the growth rates will continue indefinitely, so they hire too quickly. They commit to fixed costs or overexpand in infrastructure. Then one slowdown happens and suddenly cash disappears. This is why forecasting matters so much. Not annual budgets, but rolling cash flow forecasting. A good CFO should be doing projections maybe on a 13-week cash flow, quarterly cash flow statements, covenant compliant projections that should be looking at not just that 13 weeks, but also for the next 12 to months to 2 years. Working capital needs over that period of time and downside scenarios where what happens if we decrease by 20% and things dry up because of XYZ economic conditions? What are we going to do? The companies that scale successfully are usually not the companies growing the fastest. They're the companies that are managing the cash the best. Revenue creates excitement, cash creates stability, and in an uncertain market, stability becomes a competitive advantage. At the end of the day, I'd love to talk more about this and learn about your thoughts and how you're seeing this in your business. If anybody's experienced some of these issues or you're experiencing it today, this is something our VCFO team can dramatically help you with. Once again, I really appreciate everybody listening to a podcast about revenue margin brought to you by myself, Rob Malenik. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a wonderful day.